So today we're talking about, are you a good fit for medical sales? Do you actually have what it takes? Guys, I like to start off with a statistic because I am a data-driven person. Did you know that 220,000 plus people apply to a medical sales role every single year? I ain't talking about applications. I talk about people. Okay. And out of all those people, 3% actually get one. Everyone's attracted to the money that is behind medical sales, but people don't think about what it really takes and how you really need to differentiate yourself from everyone else if you're serious about getting a position in medical sales. Okay, so let's get into it. So, number one, do you have to be a salesperson to be in medical sales? No. I'll say it again. Number one, do you have to be a salesperson to get into medical sales? No. Okay, so yes, sales helps. I'm not gonna sit here and say sales doesn't help. And a lot of old school hiring managers will be like, yeah, I want to see sales. But we've talked about this before, and we'll talk about it again today. They want to see sales because sales proves that you've been rejected over and over and over again, and you got it done anyway. Especially if you're selling some weird thing, like, and I call it weird because it's not weird that you're selling. It's just weird that there's so many options. Like, oh my gosh, someone actually sells this, like copy machines, knives, and wine. I'll just say it, copy machines, knives, and wine. To me, those things are weird things to sell. Not because they're actually weird, the people that want them are weird, but because there's so many knives you can buy. There's so much wine you can choose from, and oh my gosh. I mean, I struggle just to consider what copy machine I need, and then I dial it down on my own. And it's to have somebody behind that trying to drive a certain type just blows my mind. The point is, when you're selling copy machines, wine, or knives, you're probably really used to rejection. And if you performed, like if you actually got away with selling it successfully, which I'm sure very few people do, but if you pull that off somehow, I mean, how are you not some amazing salesperson? And how are you not, more importantly, amazing at being told no and getting up and figuring it out and doing it anyway? That's what we need to see. The beauty of 2025 and beyond, 2026, 2027, 2028, and beyond into 2030s, the beauty of all the future is that so many career paths do that now, right? Nurses. I mean, oh my God. The bear of a schedule, the rigor of, your whether regardless your hourly setup, 312s or something else. When you're a nurse and you're killing it as a nurse, you are busy. You are grinding, especially if you're like an ICU or some specialized care. I mean, it's real stuff. And you're put in life and death situations, making critical decisions, influencing doctors, sometimes telling them what to do. I mean, it's a big thing. So when it comes to grit and competency and being service oriented and getting it up and figuring out how to do it anyway, these are all grit level skills. Athletes, of course. What else can we think of? Different types of clinicians, physical therapists. That's a shrinking industry. To be a physical therapist in this day and age and be pulling your weight, doing the thing, that's huge. So the reality is, there's all kinds of fields that have grit. It's not so much that you have to be a salesperson. No, I truly wholeheartedly believe that's false. Our data alone will show you that's false. We've graduated hundreds of candidates in the last few years, hundreds upon hundreds. And you'd be amazed about how few of them were sales reps. And it's because that is not what you need. What you need is to be able to showcase that you can handle what is assumed a sales rep can handle. And that's the grit. That's the customer service oriented mentality. That's that consistent rejection, going home, brushing your shoulders off, reviewing your notes, waking up the next day with all the enthusiasm in the world and going right back into the field and doing it anyway. So when it comes to being a medical sales rep, hiring managers need three things. This was a study done by LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn because it has so much data and I love data. So there's a lot of data behind this. And look, this is something we see anyway. So it's cool to see the data, see what we see and match it. And it all makes sense. And we agree with it 100%. And hiring managers say that for sales reps, medical sales reps, they need three qualities. Number one, they got to be resilient. We've talked this to death, right? The grit, the work ethic, getting up after you've been told no 1,000 times and doing it anyway with all the enthusiasm in the world. Resilience is critical. I mean, the job is literally a job of resilience. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's curiosity. Yes, you got to be curious. Now, what does it mean to be curious? That means when Dr. So-and-so says, well, we don't do it because of this. Well, what is that? And you find out that they're using this other product or using the other product. And you find out using this other product because it does this. Well, why do they think it does this and not that? And you find out that they think it does this and not that because they keep going to this source that tells them that it does this and not that. And you're like, well, what is that source? And you just go down the rabbit hole until you get to the bottom of why they think it and find where you can step in and drive a different behavior. Only a curious person can do that, right? If you stop surface level, for anything really, if you stop surface level, you're not a curious person. And if you're not a curious person, it's not so much you can't do this job, it's more of you're not going to enjoy doing this job. If you have no curiosity and you're just like, look, just tell me what it is. I don't want to discover anything. I am telling you right now, medical sales is not for you. And I would love it if everyone was to come into our community because I just love helping people elevate. But I got to be honest in that if you could care less about being curious, then this is just not for you. It does not make sense. So resilience, you got to be curious. And the last one, what do you think it is? Well, I can't hear you, but I'm sure you guys are all thinking something. Adaptability. You got to be adaptable. One thing I don't share enough that is just real. Did you know that every company you work for, every quarter, the sales target changes? And in most companies, the better you do, the higher it goes up. Now, that sounds crazy. And I'm sure people heard that right now and are just immediately turned off. But it's actually not that bad. When you're a killer and you're a performer and you know how to generate numbers in your territory, an ever increasing sales number is not intimidating. It's the name of the game. And once you get the secret sauce for your own territory and you know how to pull the levers to get the result, then it's not intimidating. It's just something to continuously strive towards. But the reality is, if you're not an adaptable person, something like that will completely throw you off, shut you down. You've got to be adaptable. So again, that's resilience, curiosity, and adaptability. These are the three most important traits to ask yourself if you have before you consider stepping into the world of medical sales. Are you resilient? Be honest with yourself. If you're not resilient and you still want to be here, can you develop that resilience? Are you curious? Be honest with yourself. If you're naturally not a curious person, could a lifestyle and a commitment to this type of work develop a curiosity within you that you can start doing each and every day? And then are you adaptable? Are you super stubborn and no one can tell you nothing ever? Or are you someone that's like, you know what? After seeing the data, after seeing the evidence that it can be done differently, I'm going to try a different way. Be honest with yourself, ask yourself, but these are the things you need to ask yourself when you're considering medical sales. All right. So another thing, I'm passionate about medical sales because I believe a lot of elements of being a performer are a lot of elements of succeeding in life. And what does it mean to be successful, right? I'm not talking about making $1 bajillion, or I'm not talking about having all these possessions, or I'm not talking about being the best of what you do. I mean, all those things are nice, but what I mean by having a successful life, like having success, is literally just being a better version of yourself consistently. When you can become a better version of yourself, however you define that, but it's a better version of who you were yesterday consistently, I truly attribute that to leading a successful life. What I love about medical sales is it forces you to do that if you want to be a performer in the space. And this is why. So, the daily grind of medical sales is it's the planning first. So what am I going to do? What do I think can be done? Then it's the execution. Okay, this happened. Then it's the review. Okay, this happened. What result happened from that? Then it's the analysis of the review. Okay, I noticed that this happened when this happened and that happened when that happened. So what can I change for next time? Then it goes back to the planning. And in order to truly make that a fruitful effort, you have to do this every single day. If you subscribe to this philosophy and you do it every day and you're committed, you will get better. It's inevitable. You will get better. Now, you'll have the option to say, okay, I'm getting better. Do I want to get better here, or do I want to get better over there? Over here, you might get this benefit. Over there, you might get a much bigger benefit. Over there, you might get an even bigger benefit. Who knows? But the point is, you are getting better. If you lived your life this way and you had a system to do this, I promise you, your life would just get better and better and better. Most people don't do that. That's okay. But in medical sales, you kind of have to if you want to be a performer. And if you can apply that to your life, then not only will your career get better, but your life gets better too. And we touch a lot of this in Mentors Bootcamp. But the point is, this is exciting. This is exciting to get behind. This is something to look forward to. And this is something that medical sales offers, right? There's a daily effort, and it's daily. It's not once a week or twice a week. It's literally daily, even weekends. Now, am I saying you're working weekends? No, but I'm a big believer in all the energy you give towards your performance and work. You better give yourself the same level of energy to your downtime and rejuvenation to go ahead and do it again. That's what weekends are for and nights are for. But the point is, this requires truly understanding what's going on in your life. It requires planning, strategy, commitment. It requires so many elements that make a rich life. And these are the things that medical sales has to offer. And this is what's so necessary to understand about the daily grind of this space. Okay, so now I want to talk about the red flags of medical sales. And there's one big one that honestly, I'm not sure how many people talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it because I'm a data guy. So did you know the turnover rate for medical sales is 13 to 15% a year? For any vertical, that is high. Why do you think that is? There's two reasons, and this is data back. This is not just me coming up with numbers. This was a study done. And the two reasons are burnout and unmet expectations. So what does this mean? It goes back to everything we're talking about, literally. If you knew where you're supposed to be in medical sales, will that reduce your chance of getting burnt out? Yes. If you understood that medical sales is about being resilient, adaptable, and curious, and you have identified that you are absolutely that, does that reduce your chances of being burnt out? Absolutely. And if you've taken the time to match your skill set and personality with a vertical that fits your skill set and personality, wouldn't you say that you've taken also another step to mitigating burnout? 100%. What about the unmet expectations? Well, you stop what you're doing, look into resources, and find something that gives you the ins and outs of every type of medical sales you'll be doing, and decide which one is a good fit for you. Does that level set your expectations? 100%. But the reality is, most people don't do this. Most people do not ask themselves these questions. They don't do what you're doing right now and watch this video and sit down and say, let me think about some of the things Samuel's saying. And they absolutely don't take the time to explore a resource that can literally give them the secret sauce into where they're supposed to be so that they don't experience burnout and they don't have these unmet expectations. So again, we're bringing this to a close now. You want to get into medical sales. We want to help you. There's a tool that we have called Med Sales Match. And if you're serious and you want to not experience burnout, you do not want to have any unmet expectations, and you've heard this video and you're like, you know what? After watching this, oh my gosh, medical sales is for me. Then find me on LinkedIn, Samuel Deyinka. DM me, match. That's it. Just the word match. If we're not connected, connect with me. Put match in the message. If we are connected, find me, put match, and send it to me. We're going to give you access to our Med Sales Match tool, and we're going to get you started on your way to get into medical sales. See you on the other side.